The NFL has been filled with some of the toughest hitting teams that we've ever seen in our lifetimes. While the league has become very strict when it comes to delivering crushing blows, it wasn't always like that. This allowed us to witness some of the most devastating defenses to ever play. Let's take a look at the toughest hitting teams in NFL history, the 1976 Oakland Raiders. This Raider squad boasted a hit squad of players that refused to let up, no matter who they were going up against. The talent was insane, led by players like Ted Hendricks, Gene Upshaw, and Jack Tatum. They went 13, won, and reached the Super Bowl, a game that they won against the Minnesota Vikings. However, it likely couldn't have been possible if they weren't as physical throughout the year. Tatum wrote a book called They Call Me Assassin, and even wrote a few others called They Still Call Me Assassin, Here We Go Again, and Final Confessions of an NFL Assassin. He even hit somebody so hard that he changed the opposing player's life forever. Tatum leveled Darryl Stingley right in the middle of a game, knocking the receiver hard onto the ground and causing severe injuries. Stingley had his fourth and fifth vertebrae severed by the hit and spent the remainder of his life in a wheelchair. So, to put it simply, Tatum and company were a scary team to go up against. The 1976 Pittsburgh Steelers, the 1976 Steel Curtain deserves its addition. This group was deadly at the back end with guys such as Mean Joe Green, Jack Lambert, Jack Ham, and Mel Blount locking it all down. Ham himself even said that he thinks the Steelers' defense in 1976 is the best group of all time. The stats certainly show how dominant and physical they were. After their quarterback Terry Bradshaw got injured, the defense had to step up for the final 9 games of the regular season, and they certainly did just that. They allowed a total of 28 points. That's not an exaggeration. They allowed opposing teams an average of just 3.1 points per game, had 5 shutouts, allowed only one team to surpass 6 points in a single game, and forced a whopping 28 turnovers. They won all 9 of those games as well. The 1985 Chicago Bears. Chicago is still considered one of the best all-around defensive units to ever play in the NFL to date. Not only was this group stacked with talent at every single position, but there were also so many tough, hard-nosed players who weren't afraid to lay the hammer down on their opponents. As an offensive player coming into a game against Chicago, you would be terrified to run a route over the middle of the field or take a handoff up the gut. You had guys like Gary Fensick in the free safety position who could level you at any moment. Mike Richardson was on the other end, ball-hawking any pass that came near him. Then, you had the hard-hitting Mike Singletary in the middle of the field, with William Perry stuffing the middle of the defensive line. You can look at every single one of these players and become aware that they meant business. However, the best stat to show how physical they were is that they allowed just 198 points in the entire year en route to a 15-1 record. Physicality, toughness, and ferocious hits led the way for this Bears unit, the 1986 New York Giants. This Giants squad was led by Bill Parcells and boasted players such as Harry Carson and the legendary Lawrence Taylor. Carson made the Pro Bowl as their inside linebacker, while Taylor was already considered a Hall of Fame player. Defensive end Leonard Marshall made the Pro Bowl as well, and nose tackle Jim Burt enjoyed a Pro Bowl year. With Bill Belichick overseeing the defense, it's certainly not surprising to hear that a team consisting of this many players was able to hold their opponents to just 14.8 points per game throughout the year. The Giants finished with a 14-2 record and won the Super Bowl. You're rarely ever going to get a team as physical as this one with so many strong defensive players just crushing opposing offenses. And that will do it for the hardest hitting teams in the NFL. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, remember to subscribe. Thanks for watching.